What's up, everybody? Joshua here with Eric to talk about the Death of Wolverine. Marvel is doing this big storyline in September that will end in the absolute, final death of Wolverine, called the Death of Wolverine.
Final.
Yeah. Well, they're saying he's actually going to die.
Right.
Is the thing, and he'll be gone for a while, assumingly. Who knows? Of course, they're going to bring him back. Yeah.
Right.
But in sort of the spirit of the occasion, as tribute to Wolverine, we want to look back at 10 other times Wolverine has died in the comic books.
Yeah, pretty much every comic book character has died, but what you're saying with Wolverine is this will actually be something that sticks.
Yeah, for now. We know he's going to come back. Save your comments.
Right.
But yeah, so let's dive right into the list. The first one, X-Men Days of Future Past. There's a rebel force. The X-Men are running from the Sentinels, but one blasts Wolverine, and he dies.
Yeah, and it's a very iconic comic book cover. Both the Days of Future Past covers are iconic, but that image of Wolverine, we just had never seen that to that point, that he was completely defeated like that.
But that was an alternate future. We don't really count. This next one actually happened in actual Marvel continuity. This actually did happen. It's called Lost in the Funhouse in the X-Men comics. And he was impaled by a javelin thrown by this guy called the Horde. Right. And he was saving Storm's life. He dies. A javelin took him out.
Yeah. But they're remarkably inconsistent, by the way, on what can take out Wolverine.
On this list.
There'll be a lot of that.
But then a drop of blood got on this super powered crystal, and he immediately respawned and killed the bad guy.
Right.
Which is weird, but which is extra weird about this is that, so that's a new Wolverine, but what if the old body, the javelin didn't kill him completely, or it healed somehow, and there's another Wolverine somehow operating in the Marvel Universe?
Because that is arguably the weakest death he had, is just, he's thrown speared.
From sporting equipment.
Right. So yeah, first of all, the fact that every Wolverine story since has been a second body, think about that, and then the fact that, what if there's just a Wolverine corpse out there, or maybe he just got up and he's running around. Because this is another dimension, so maybe there's another Wolverine just stuck in that other dimension.
Yeah. But okay, let's move on to the next one. This is a What If comic. Yeah. And the original one was what if Wolverine killed the Hulk? Well, it's flipped it on its head. What if Hulk killed the Wolverine? And really, he just broke his neck. Yeah,
and again, couldn't Wolverine heal from that too?
Yeah. Or dislodged a vertebrae, because you couldn't really break him because it's unbreakable adamantium. But I was that's a little anticlimactic. Whatever.
A little bit, yeah.
There's one where the Punisher killed him.
Yeah, this was Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, which was a kind of purposely ridiculous story where it lived up to the title and Punisher killed everyone. But this one I thought was really funny because Wolverine gets thrown into a transformer, an electrical transformer, not Optimus Prime.
Death by Optimus Prime.
But it's one of those things where I don't think Transformers would work like this, where it just instantly melts all his skin off. He doesn't just get electrocuted; he's just completely nothing but a skeleton.
And it's also worth noting that in the fight, he got impaled on his own claws. Which was the Punisher just systematically took Wolverine out. Yeah. If anyone can kill anybody, it's the Punisher, right?
I guess he's pretty good at killing.
Yeah, he's pretty good at killing. This is his thing. For another story called Here Comes Tomorrow in New X-Men, it's in the future, really complicated, Grant Morrison stuff, but it was, the Beast pretty much got the Phoenix power, and he just turned off Wolverine's healing factor, and then sliced his tummy open. Right. And he got disemboweled and died.
I mean, look, if you could turn off his healing factor, that would do it. At that point, any of the things we mentioned should take him out.
Yeah. Another story is Enemy of the State, where a guy named Gorgon just stabbed him to death, because the healing factor can only heal if it has enough time to catch up. Right. You know what I mean? So he overwhelmed the healing factor by stabbing him a bunch. But
it's comic books, and he was back within a couple panels. That's the thing. We were saying every character is killed at some point, but brought back almost instantly. And so this is one of those times where he's brought back, just a couple panels later, and now he's evil until the end of the story.
Yeah, and then eventually he regains control of his consciousness, and then and he's fine again. Right. But they did actually a what if spin-off off of that death, and said what if he didn't gain control back, and Kitty Pryde ended up killing him.
Yeah, which this one I really like. First of all, I'm just a huge Kitty Pryde fan. And then it's a really grotesque image, actually, because she phases her hand inside his brain, through his face, into his brain, and then sort of chops her own hand off to leave her hand in there, so it basically destroys his brain and he can't heal around her hand. And it's really gross, and it's also kind of, badass, because Kitty, takes her own hand off to do it. Yeah. So I like that one because I like sick things. So.
Yeah, that one's good. I think that one actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
too.
no,
like, when I think of
think
how we would do this and which powers would work against him,
Right.
like having a hand in your brain, it's kind of,
Right. I mean, I guess if
that.
someone yanked it out, he'd be back. But as long as the hand stays there,
Yeah,
he's
don't touch that.
Right.
Another one is Marvel Zombies. He's got bit by a zombie. Like
Yeah.
2 zombies and got turned into a zombie. Again, you know, the healing factor is supposed to work against diseases and stuff, but I guess zombies is too much because we all wanted to see zombie Wolverine. We wouldn't want him to heal for that.
No, you can't. Zombie Wolverine's cool.
Yeah. Another one is a story called Love and Loss, where Chris Claremont, classic X-Men writer, did his own like X-Men universe.
Yeah.
And Storm fried him with lightning.
That one again, like, you know, after all Wolverine has survived, the fact that you can just basically, you know, shoot him with a bunch of lightning and he's dead.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you think about it, though, is that lightning, it goes through your whole body and it burns everything at the same time. It's like very overwhelming. So I think it goes with that fact that you could overwhelm the healing factor with enough electricity.
Yeah, I guess the problem is that some other stories have gone way too far in the other direction of letting him survive things he probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, like there's a story where he was literally burnt to the bone and he's like a walking skeleton. And people were like, wait a sec, there's nothing to regrow.
Yeah, but he did it.
Yeah, that'll be our next feature. 10 things Wolverine survived where he shouldn't have.
Right.
Okay, number 9 is a story in Ultimatum, which is the ultimate universe, an alternate universe. Magneto was very thorough. He took Cyclops' visor and like shot Wolverine, and at the same time he took Iron Man's armor, turned on his repulsor rays, fried him until he was like a steaming pile of Wolverine, and then he shattered the adamantium to just my favorite was like this final shot of just Wolverine's like hand and his claws like in the ocean, covered in salt water. It would never grow back, but people are saying that hand is gonna one day like come back.
I mean, this is a notable one though because the Ultimate Universe was kind of the most ongoing version of Wolverine besides the original. So it was a big deal that, you know, they decided to kill not just Wolverine, a bunch of big characters, because they wanted to really prove we can do things differently here, like take out characters we will never permanently kill in the Marvel Universe, but here we can, and so far he hasn't come back, right?
Yeah, that's actually what's really interesting about that is that people are like, oh, he'll come back, whatever. In Ultimate Universe, usually death means you are dead. And he has been dead 4 years and he hasn't come back. They actually introduced his son to have a Wolverine-type character. He also has the claws and whatever. But yeah, he is dead in there, and I like that. Magneto is very thorough.
Very.
He wiped him off the face of the map. And the last one is from Age of Ultron. Wolverine did all these like time traveling where he wanted to stop Ultron so he wouldn't kill Hank Pym, Ant-Man. But then he realized that makes the future even worse. So he goes back to stop himself. But they walk into a cave, and we don't really see how Wolverine kills himself.
Yeah, the other Wolverine agrees to die. We don't see what he does, but, you know, again, yes, I guess Wolverine would know how to kill Wolverine, right? We could assume maybe it's just like a special button he has hidden somewhere. There you go. So whatever he did.
Or maybe that Wolverine's still living in that cave.
That's true. There's like 3 Wolverines out there. One day they'll meet up.
Yeah. So those are the 10 times Wolverine has died. Let us know your favorite or any you may have missed in the comics or alternate universes. And let us know how you would kill Wolverine. That'd be a morbid comment thread. Let's get that
going. Hand through the face, man.
Yeah, hand through the face.
That's me.
And for all things Wolverine and the death of Wolverine, keep it locked to IGN.